actually kind of sounds like a downside now that I think about it. You know, race cars go vroom and piss off neighbors and make babies cry. No one really needs an exhaust anyway. Back pressure's for sissies. Welcome back to Lefty's Fabrication, everybody. Today is a glorious day because we're back to work on our 2012 Dodge Avenger race car project. Man, that is a mouthful. I could probably condense that down into a name or something. I'll have to come up with something later. Anyway, before we get back to work on the car, I have a dilemma I need you all to help me solve. I, for the life of me, cannot figure out what color to paint this car. So, I've made a community post. If you could hop over there after the video's over and cast your vote for what color you think this car should be, I would be eternally grateful. And if you just want to leave a comment with a color suggestion, that's fantastic too. But while you're at it, if you could subscribe to the channel, I would be forever in your debt. That would be super lovely. And we're doing something I've been waiting a really long time to do. We are going to weld the doors shut. That's right. We're welding the doors shut. Here, 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 and probably up here. And on the bottom, on both sides. It's going to be great. There's a little bit of planning we have to do before we can start doing that, and I'll show you what I mean. I have to plan out where the rub rails that go on the outside of the car are going to be. And I have a decent idea, but the trick is to figure out where you're going to attach them to the car so that they're not just out there, you know, floating in space. And that's a little bit tricky. This side is easy. I'm going to attach them to the car right about here, in between the hinges for the front door, because I can just cut this section out, put a plate down inside of here, you know, in there, and then have some pieces of pipe coming out to attach to the rub rails. Everywhere else is fairly easy to figure out. I'm going to drill holes in this door, right where the roll bar is, and then connect my rub rails to that. Or to these support legs. I have options. Back here, this is a sturdy part of the car. I can put a connection here, or I can skip that and just have it connect to this bar that I put in to connect to in the first place. And then I'll connect to the front and rear bumpers. But this front door on the driver's side is a bit of an issue. The issue on the driver's side here is that is a lot of wiring that I don't know what it goes to. If I ever get hit in the driver's door, and cross my fingers I don't, because those are illegal hits and they really hurt. If I ever do get hit, that wiring is going to get pinched. And I don't have anywhere that I can put support to keep those from getting crushed, because there's a hole right here where wiring used to go through into the driver's door. So I have to figure out what to do right here before I can really get very far. I have finally decided what to do after like 10 minutes of thinking about it. And what I'm going to do is forget that I need to do that and work on the other doors instead of that one. Because procrastination! It would be just my luck that right after I made that last clip, the battery in my camera died and the other battery that I have was also dead. So I had to wait a little bit, and as I was waiting I started thinking, well, have I done everything inside of the car that I need to before I weld the doors shut? And the answer was no, because I'm really good at forgetting things, and because I like to overplan for stuff, I decided to change the roll cage just a little bit. So I added these two crossbars into the roll cage because when I put the rub rails on the outside of the car, you know, they're going to be here-ish somewhere, I want to attach them to the roll cage because it's going to be the strongest part of the car, and it's right in the middle, and it's easier than attaching it to the B-pillar. I did it on my last car, it worked out really good, so that's what I decided to do. Now I may potentially in the future have to put a piece of pipe between that support leg and this support leg if I decide to connect any of the rub rails to the support legs, but that's to be determined. I haven't figured that out yet. It'll be kind of crappy doing it with all the doors welded shut, but I really won't have a choice. This is the worst stool I've ever had. This thing's going in the trash. Ow! Oh, why did I do that to myself? Well, luckily, I figured out that even taking the door handles off is not the point of no return quite yet. I won't hit that point until I weld all these doors shut. I don't really know how I'm going to do that quite yet. I don't know if I should make like big pieces and weld them on, or just little pieces and put them everywhere. Kind of aiming for little pieces, because I don't really think that having, big long pieces attaching the doors to the car permanently are going to make that big of a difference. I've got all the door handles removed, and like I said, luckily I can still open the door without the handles on there. There's just a little lever inside that I have to find and play with. But I've also got all the little pieces cut out for holding the door shut. You can see them right here. There's some of them. That ought to do just fine. I don't see a reason to do big pieces. I'm going to go ahead and mark out where all the plates go, and I'll spare you the torture of watching that. I'll just put it in a time lapse, and then we'll get to welding them all in. I've got all the spots ground on the passenger side of the car where I want to weld on the plates onto my doors, and I notice there's quite a few spots where those plates are not going to sit flat because the doors don't quite line up with the body anymore. I have a nice little trick that will fix that, and I thought I would show y'all what that is. We're going to get the passenger side of the car done first, and then we're going to hop over to the driver's side. As you can see here, I have welded this plate onto the bottom of my door completely. This is to make sure that when I engage my trick, it works and it doesn't fall off. Fits perfect! I realize this is a completely useless trick because literally no one else is doing this. But this part of the door is a little bit sunken in from the rocker panel. That's why I welded the plate onto the door first and then slammed it shut. This plate is now sitting flat up against the rocker panel, and it's all the way welded around the door. It's not sitting on any weird angle. I don't have to mess with anything. And I plan on doing the same exact thing up here. Well, hello, little fella. Well, how'd you get in here? Excuse me. You can't park there. I may have missed with the sledgehammer. Just a smidge. I made it a lot worse. Okay, now very carefully, Colin. You want to be very gentle. Just pull out the dent. Ah! Ah! I broke it. Ah! Good enough! It is time to do the driver's side. Just like the passenger side, it should be exactly the same, other than this one little area right here. I wanted to use a bigger, thicker plate right in that specific area because there is structure inside of the car, and when I attach the rub rails to the outside of the car, this should add quite a bit of structure and try and keep this flappity-doo-dah door from getting crushified, because that would really suck if I can't put gas in my car. You know? Well, it's a bummer, but I didn't quite get finished. I ran out of welding wire on the very last plate, but all the other ones are done. And as you can see, it's pretty smoky in here, and it's pretty darn cold for being, April. Thank you, Northern Utah. So, I'm going to call it quits for the night, but we will be back very soon, probably in, right now. Hi, it's right now. And right now, I still don't have any welding wire. I didn't have a chance to go get any today. But progress must continue on the car. So I think we need to fix a very pressing issue that is a huge thorn in my side and is kind of important. And that would be the exhaust. It's way too quiet for a race car. It just is. It has a big muffler and some other stuff that's unnecessary. You know, race cars go vroom and piss off neighbors and make babies cry. But before we do that, I do have a brand new battery for this car, and I'm going to have to put it in so I can move it around a little bit. You know, start it up, listen to the horse ponies just roar. You know, I don't think horses roar, but you get my point. And this here is the battery that I have purchased for this car. I would love to pull a Vice Grip Garage and say that I bought it because it was the cheapest or because it has a goat handle. It was neither of those things. It does not have a go handle, and it was not the cheapest battery. I bought this battery because it fits. This is the only one I could find that fits. It was $200! Why? It's the only one that the green auto parts store had that would fit. A smart thing to do would have been to do this before I welded the doors shut. But hindsight being what it is, yeah. No, that's my back. Now that I've got the brand new battery installed, I'm going to fire this thing up so y'all can hear what it's like just with the stock muffler, stock exhaust system. Whoops! Ramps are dumb. Here's my plan. And I'm just coming up with this off the top of my head right now. I am going to cut right in front of the very back muffler, take it off, we're going to start up the car and see what it sounds like. And if it sounds like garbage, I'll cut some more off. And we'll just keep going until it's basically straight manifolds, because why not? No one really needs an exhaust anyway. Back pressure's for sissies. I can't see. Ow! Oh my gosh. That's nice. Now one. Got two. Oh. That was easy. Nice. Muffler deleted. You know, at some point, I'm probably going to have to take this trailer hitch off. But it's kind of one of those things where you're like, I don't know if I should keep that or get rid of it. Rather not get in trouble. That was a lot better, but still really, really lame. So I have to cut a bunch more off. There's a can that I thought was a resonator in the middle of the car-ish, and I was really hoping that that would kind of make it sound more throaty, but I think it's another muffler. So I'm gonna go ahead and just lop off the exhaust before that, and that's gonna have to be as good as it gets, because there's really not much after that. I have a bit of an update. So this exhaust hanger is literally the only one on the entire exhaust system now. That one. That's it. Everything else is dangling from here back. This is the can I was talking about. This is obviously a muffler. I don't like that. It needs to go away. I have a joint right here that I can unbolt. Hopefully, maybe, probably not. And then there's this flex pipe up here. So if I take this piece of the exhaust off, this is just going to be flapping in the breeze. So I'm going to have to make some sort of a bracket to go across from here to there to hold that sucker up so it's not, you know, bouncing off the ground, because that'd be embarrassing, wouldn't it? I'm going to cut this very last exhaust hanger off. I'm going to cut the rubber off. Let this whole thing dangle down here. And then I'm going to put my impact on this bolt, and hopefully, I'm really hoping that it's just going to come apart. I know better, but I'm going to hope anyway. Oh, I needed a deep socket. What a dummy. No way! Wow! What a good day today's been. All right. Now, I didn't want to, but I'm going to cut it off. Hey, you know what? I'll take it. It's not perfect. It's not a big block, but you know what? It's not a big block. It's a little tiny V6. It's probably the best it's ever going to sound, is just, you know, lopped off right at the manifolds, basically. So, you know what? I can't complain. It'll be all right. I really thought about putting a boom tube on this thing at one time, you know, going old school NASCAR style, but the more I think about it, I really don't have the time to do that. And to be fair, it's probably going to get ripped off at some point, and then I'm going to get mad that I wasted all that time. So I'm just going to leave it the way it is. As soon as I can get some more welding wire, I'm going to make a bracket and weld it on the bottom of the car so that thing just quits, you know, doing this number. I've had a fantastic idea. Rather than waiting until I can go and get more welding wire, I remember that I had one of these make your exhaust oval clamps. And I thought, why don't I just use this clamp and bolt the little tiny piece of exhaust to the bracket using this, and then it can't move around and it won't drag on the ground. I'm a genius! That last piece had been plasma cut on both sides, and I think because of that, it had hardened the steel just enough that I couldn't drill through it. So I'm going to use this. I literally found this in my field last summer. I live on old farmland, and I don't know what this goes to, but it will work perfectly. I think you can just do that number around the exhaust. And do it back there. Yeah, sure. Ah! Dropped a nut. What am I running over? What? Come on now. You may be asking yourself right about now, well, how's he going to attach it to the bottom of the car? Well, I have a very, very awesome little secret. No, not really. I'm just going to use self-tappers. These are the roofing variety, and they will do something until they don't. We have made a ton of progress on this car today. I'm super happy about it, you know? Like, the doors are welded shut. I can no longer use them, which actually kind of sounds like a downside now that I think about it. But that's okay. We cut off the exhaust. It sounds pretty okay-ish. It is what it is. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like. That would be amazing. And if you are subscribed, please remember to turn on the notification bell so you know when all my new videos come out. And if you're not subscribed yet, then that's okay. I haven't earned it and we aren't friends yet, but I'd love to change your mind in the future. I got a new broom! I'm pretty stoked about it, actually. This thing's sweet.